All right. Hello, Africa Cyberfesters. I hope you're having a swell time at the conference. My name is Amina Allison, and you're welcome to this panel session. And I'm going to be serving as the moderator for this crucial conversation on the topic is Africa cyber prepared for the AI revolution. We all know that artificial intelligence is transforming how we work, how we live, and even how we connect, from automating business processes to reshaping national security. Artificial intelligence is redefining what is possible in our digital world. But with all this transformation comes a very, very pressing question. Is Africa prepared? Are our systems, institutions, and talents equipped to navigate the waves of opportunities and even the threats that AI brings? On this panel session, I have distinguished cybersecurity professionals from 4 different countries across Africa, and they bring a wealth of experience from their work in national security, digital policy, and incident response. And together with them, we're going to be having a conversation around how African nations are adapting to AI-induced changes, the threats we're currently seeing, and even what opportunities lies ahead for Africa if we're able to act strategically. We're going to be having this very interesting conversation, and you are going to be hearing their personal stories, insights, and even get some practical takeaways from our panelists. I'm really privileged to have these distinguished ladies here with me, and I'm very, very excited to begin. I hope you are excited too. And I'm going to start by introducing our panelists to us, so that we get to know them as we get into the panel session proper. I'm going to start with this distinguished lady from Sierra Leone. She's a cybersecurity specialist, a cybersecurity trainer at Sierra Leone's National Cybersecurity Center, and a global ambassador for the Protect Us Kids Foundation, with international experience from the UK, Kenya, and Sierra Leone. She focuses on national cyber resilience, youth empowerment, and online child protection. She focuses, let me take that again. She focuses on national cyber resilience, youth empowerment, and online child protection. She holds a master's in cybersecurity and pen testing and is Interpol certified in cybercrime and electronic evidence. She advocates for responsible AI, cybersecurity education, and cyber sustainability, especially in protecting vulnerable communities. Her work bridges technology, governance, and human-centered security in Africa's digital transformation. Please, with a round of applause, please welcome Gemma Pine-Belly from Sierra Leone. Hello, Gemma.
Hello, hi.
It's nice to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine and hope you're doing well.
I am. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So my next panelist is from Malawi. She is a distinguished cybersecurity specialist with a diverse academic and professional background. She earned her bachelor's degree in cybersecurity with distinction from City University in India and completed her master's degree in computer applications with specialization in computer science and IT with distinction as well. Currently, she serves as an incident response officer at the Malawi Communications Regulatory Authority. As a key member of the national Malawi CIRTs, in this role, she addresses and mitigates cybersecurity incidents to protect national interests. Her career spans various roles, including cybersecurity intern with the Malawi Defense Force, software engineer at Gestentner Limited, and ICT officer at e-government under the Ministry of Information. She also managed the Future Diplomat Forum 2022 with International Global Network and has contributed to the Wikimedia Foundation as a writer. She represents her country at prestigious high-level meetings, including the United Nations Open-Ended Working Group on the Security and Use of Information and Communications Technology, where she does the cyber negotiations for Malawi. She's also an active participant in esteemed fellowships, such as her Cybertracks Fellowship and the Women in International Security and Cyberspace Fellowship, showcasing her dedication to advancing cybersecurity and empowering women in the field. As a child online protection trainer and GetSafe online ambassador, she is dedicated to promoting online safety. She has a strong foundation in programming, ethical hacking, penetration testing, malware analysis, threat analysis, and incident response, and is passionate about education and knowledge sharing. She holds certification as a certified ethical hacker and Cisco support technician in cybersecurity. Please help me welcome Ella Hamwaka from Malawi.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
How is the weather at Malawi?
It's cold right now. It's very cold. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're privileged to have you join us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my next panelist is from Botswana. She is a cybersecurity professional with over 9 years of experience spanning cybersecurity risk, governance and compliance, internet governance, ICT policy, and software development. She holds a master's in business analytics from Trinity College Dublin and a bachelor's of science in computer systems engineering from the University of Sunderland. Currently serving as a senior CIRT analyst at Botswana CIRT, Angela leads national cyber incident response, threat intelligence, resilience assessments, and public awareness campaigns. She previously served as Botswana's CCTLD engineer, where she expanded the .bw domain, implemented DNSSEC, and championed inclusive internet policy. Angela is the vice chairperson of AFTLD and actively contributes to global forums like ICANN and FIRST, working on DNS abuse and CCTLD policy development. A mentor in the ITU Women in Cyber program, she supports women in tech and cybersecurity. Beyond her technical work, Angela chairs the board of Botswana Accountancy College and serves on its academic and finance committees. Her interests include fencing, travel, languages, music, and community service. Please help me welcome Angela Matlapeng from Botswana.
Not too bad. Not too bad. My surname, right there, you got it. Thanks for having me, Amina.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. The last but not the least amongst the panelists is from Nigeria. She's a cyber analyst at the Nigeria Computer Emergency Response Team, NG-CERT, under the National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, Abuja. She studied at the University of Sunderland, UK. She brings a blend of technical expertise, academic backgrounding, and creative passion to the cybersecurity space. Prior to her current role, she spent 7 years at Federal University, the CINMA, where she coordinated and led numerous trainings for academic and non-academic staff. She has acquired several skills and certifications in digital forensics and other information security domains. Lumnat is a multifaceted writer and the author of an unpublished book, The Charged Ginger, alongside a growing collection of prose and poetry. Fluent in English, Hausa, Urdu, and Hindi, she's a committed advocate for youth empowerment through education and creativity. Her aspirations mirror Africa Cyberfest mission of fostering inclusive growth, innovation, and leadership in cybersecurity across the continent. Please help me welcome Lumnat Ishak to this panel session. Is she here?
No, I think we can proceed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, and these are all our panelists. And we're going to be having a very interesting conversation with each and every one of them. Like I said, they bring a wealth of experience and expertise, and we're really going to be learning a lot from their insights. And to kickstart our conversation, I'd like to speak with Ella. Yes, so Ella, your profile indicates you've played a key role in strengthening your country's security, and you've been very active in the community with numerous events and certifications. Can you share with us how you got into cybersecurity?
Okay, I hope I can be heard clearly.
Yes, you can.
Okay, my journey is a very interesting one because from the very beginning, I wasn't always into cybersecurity. I always loved computers. So when I went to university, I went there to study computer science engineering. So when I went there, I was doing programming, and first year of engineering, as per routine, you cover pretty much everything. You become a carpenter, you do things with cars, you do things with so many things, construction. And I was like, this is very enjoyable. These are some very interesting opportunities for me to learn. But these are things that I'm familiar with. So I decided that I wanted to do something different. That's when I got to know cybersecurity. And then the good thing is I had a friend that was doing cybersecurity. So I was like, can I read your books? So I got her books and I went through and I discovered it's IT. Yes, it's IT related, but it's something completely different. So I decided to go through her books, and that's when I made up my mind to say, I'm gonna change my program. So some tough times here and there, I managed to change my program, and fast forward to when I graduated. Now the reality hit me because there were no jobs. Every time I approached somebody and said, hi, I do cybersecurity, they'll be like, what's that? And I always had to explain to them what it was. And I remember even the biggest of bosses telling me, oh, you do cybersecurity? Interesting. Have you tried the security companies? So it was very frustrating. So from the very beginning, it was draining, it was tiring. It took me over a year to settle into a job that was specifically cybersecurity. And most of the positions that I held in the beginning needed me to teach people about what cybersecurity is. But I can say it all pays off in the end because I've seen Malawi grow in the aspect of cybersecurity. Everybody wants a cybersecurity specialist now. It's like I had to choose now. So I would say we've come a long way, and through the awareness that I've always done, because I realized that I shouldn't always have to wait for the big offices to teach people about cybersecurity. So I started offering free courses, online for anybody that wanted to join, and you would find some of these big bosses joining, and now all of a sudden they're releasing vacancies for cybersecurity specialists. So yeah, it's been not an easy journey, but I can say it's been worth it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that interesting story. I mean, you've really had a very interesting journey. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Angela, I would love to also hear from you. how has your journey been? What drew you to cybersecurity? And why are you still passionate about it till today?
Great. So I also have an interesting story like Ella. So my first love was psychology, right? So I got rejected because I was 2 points short to go into psychology. So my next option was to follow a career in accounting because I was a little bit good at math as well, right? So just on my way to pay for my admission fees, I overheard a conversation between this young lady who was also trying to get into the school, and she was basically being advised by another guy who had been in the school for some time to not go into computer systems engineering, right? And for me, I had been exposed to computers, but from the hardware part of it. So I wasn't really into programming and all those things. I just like to like fix things and all that. So I got really angry when I had this guy just saying that, oh, you can't make it because a lot of women fail at first semester. There's this thing called programming. There's a language called Java. It's a lot hard. So I thought to myself, no, that's a false kind of narrative about women and everything. And I just purposed in my head, I was like, I have to prove this guy wrong. And to this day, I don't even know who that is. But I very impulsively went to the registry office, told them that, listen, I'd like to go for the CSE. I have applied, but I can't find my letter, which wasn't the truth. But I found out that I did qualify for the course and I was eventually enrolled. Right? So 4 years down the line, I graduated as the only first class in my cohort and one of the best programmers, not female programs, but the best programmers in school, right? And that's just where my journey with women in tech started. I started my career in software engineering as a full stack developer for about 3.5 years. And then I then joined my now organization, which is Borg, trying to start afresh because I kind of got bored with programming for some reason. And then I happened to find out about a graduate program that was going on, which just meant that I'd be trained for 2 years and then they'd figure out what to do with me next, right? But during my interview, somehow I impressed the panelists and then they said, listen, there's this thing called cybersecurity that we're getting started with. And yes, you don't know much about it, but we like your enthusiasm, so would like to put you in it. There was out of a group of 11, there was 2 of us that got chosen, a former colleague of mine. So similar to what Ella started with, I also started with awareness, which for me was self-educating before going out to people. It's, listen, this is what cybersecurity is about in terms of systems protection, all that. So for me, I really leaned on the psychology part of it because I've always been interested in the human aspect. So it wasn't really hard for me to link human behavior to now actual cybercrime and cybersecurity in general. So for a couple of months, I was doing a lot of awareness with young children, older people, persons with disabilities, just more vulnerable groups, right? And then slowly, when I got used to understanding the technology itself, that's when I started going into incident management. And that's when we were being established around 2020 during the pandemic, which, yeah, it was hard. But I also happened to come at the right time when one manager was retiring from the organization and he used to take care of the CCTLD or the country code top level domain. It would be NG for Nigeria, right? So I went into that area also not knowing anything about domain names. I was pretty much self-taught, right? Not knowing that most cybercrime would come from a lot of domain names being exploited and phishing and all that. So for me, it was a added advantage, even though it didn't feel like it when it was happening. But having that foundation of really understanding the domain name space to now go into cybersecurity was a really good opportunity for me. And I've been doing this for 6 years now, going on 7, and I love my job. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's also an interesting story, like you said. And just like Ella, I think you have also been like a pioneer in your country. I mean, paving the path in cybersecurity for others to follow. I mean, it's really beautiful. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So I would also like to hear from Lumnat. So we've started the conversation already, and I will also hear from you. I want to hear your voice in this conversation as well. So I see that you are a jack of all trades and master of all, because I see beyond cybersecurity, you do a lot of things too. And you even have a book already, and you compose poems. It's really interesting. So I'm just a little bit curious. Do you see cybersecurity relating to all the other endeavors you engage in?
Yes. Thank you, Amina, for that question. Actually, while growing up, I've always wanted to be a writer, but yeah, like raising up, being raised up in a home, filled with academicians, with my parents, the pressure to study a core subject was really high. So you can imagine the pressure. They wanted me to be a lawyer or a doctor, to go for medicine or law. So I decided to go into tech to study IT. While doing it on the sideline, I was still writing because what motivated me was during secondary school in Nigeria here, there was a paper that we were asked to write. I think it was in my final year in secondary school. So it was an English paper. We were supposed to write a descriptive essay. So luckily for me, I aced that paper. I was the best, like my paper was the best. So that gave me that motivation, that feeling of being like, as in you're being motivated. So from there, I decided that, okay, I can pursue both. I can work for IT and still do my writing on the sidelines. So while cybersecurity is my main focus,
Okay.
yeah, so while cybersecurity is my main focus, it connects closely with my other areas because, for instance, I have a background in psychology. It helps me understand human behavior, which is key when dealing with social engineering and user-related risk. So my writing
Yeah.
experience, including my book, has always taught me the importance of communication because tech is not all about tech. IT is not all about tech. It's all about communication, and so in my book, like the Chat Ginger that is yet to be published, I try to chip in my experience because Chat Ginger is basically my autobiography. So it's just me reliving and sharing my experience with people. So definitely we expect more of cybersecurity. So because cybersecurity, it's about decision making, it's about protecting lives. So that's where, they come together.
And that's very nice. And I can't wait to actually read your books. Your book. I
I will
know it is
invite you to the lunch.
loaded with a lot of lessons.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
All right. So I think Gemma has not spoken already, so we'd like to hear from her. Gemma, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. So, I mean, cybersecurity has so many interpretations, right? Even from our panelists here, from their experiences, they view cybersecurity in different lights, right? And I just want to know from you personally, right? What does cybersecurity mean to you?
Okay. So to me, cybersecurity is about protection. It's about defending the ecosystem, the digital ecosystem, and it includes the network, the data, the infrastructure, and most importantly, people from evolving threats. People. And I often think of myself as like an online guardian. Normally, when I talk to people, I tell them cybersecurity is like being a superman or superwoman online. And it's all about working to protect, the vulnerable from scams, from breaches, from identity thefts and misinformation. But it's having a heart of protection, and it's deep within. If you look your younger brother or younger sister or somebody you love, you just want to protect, right? So cyber security in practical terms, it's about ensuring, there's confidentiality and availability of digital resources. I mean, here in Sierra Leone, um, digital literacy is slowly growing, but cybersecurity, it must meet the people where they are. It's not just about firewalls, it's about creating a safer online experience for everyone. Beyond the frameworks and controls, it's about building trust in technology and making sure the users they feel safe to interact, whether with the applications or devices or the internet, and learn and live in, a digital world, because no matter what, it's evolving. So for me, that's what cybersecurity is all about.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I like the fact that you say we as cybersecurity professionals are very much like the Superman, right? We're protecting people. It's all
Wonder
about
Woman.
all right, super women, right? Yes. So we're protecting people online. And I dare say we're also guardians of the galaxy, right?
Exactly.
Um, That's
Exactly.
finally, yeah. All right, thank you. So I would like to go back to Lumnat. Lumnat. So we've heard from Gemma what cybersecurity entails. Now, I just want to know, how does cybersecurity intersect with artificial intelligence?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, Lumnat, can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, I can hear you.
Okay.
I think cybersecurity are closely linked together. They have a growing connection to me, especially as cyber threats are becoming more advanced, like hackers are becoming, smarter, So AI is enhancing cybersecurity in terms of threat detection, vulnerability management, and automated response. So another, intersection between them, both fields, is how they manage security risk. So, like where specifically crafted attacks can fool AI, that's where cybersecurity comes in to help. Then there are AI-powered, attacks where malicious actors use AI to create more sophisticated attacks, to exploit victims. So these attacks can range from phishing campaigns, phishing, deepfakes, and even password cracking using machine learning capabilities. So I think cybersecurity aids each other, and I think one cannot do with the as in they cannot do with each other. They cannot do with each other. And relationship between them is constantly evolving. It's growing every day since technology is evolving, and yeah. So each advance in one field affect the other one definitely. So organizations, let me say maybe not in Nigeria, like in Africa or in the world, organizations increasingly need the expertise in both domains to effectively maintain their security postures. So that they just come together.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. And I've heard specifically how AI is enhancing cybersecurity operations, as well as also enhancing threats, right? So Angela, do you have anything to add to this? I mean, as regards to the challenges that AI is posing to our digital world?
Yeah, sure. I think Lumnet has already mentioned a couple of
Yes.
problems and challenges. I mean, let's look into stuff like generative AI, right? Everyone pretty much uses ChatGPT to make decisions, to, I don't know, craft Word documents and all that. But if you're looking from a phishing perspective, where say a non-native English speaker can go online and then ask ChatGPT to form a message that's now in an English text form, it means that phishing becomes even more prevalent when everyone can use such technology, right? But I think for me, the more worrisome thing, which I think also Lumnet spoke to, is advanced threats that have been designed to evade security, like the traditional security features, maybe your ideas and stuff like that. If you look at an example like domain-generated algorithms, where they would be used to, work on C2 servers and all those things, and it would be very hard for you to like detect that this is what's happening. Unlike if it's just a normal domain and you're able to whether see if it's phishing or not, right? But have speaking more to the human aspect of things, there's been a very sad story rather that happened around February this year, where a 14-year-old boy in some US state, I can't remember the name, ended up committing suicide a few weeks after starting to chat with a chatbot.
Wow.
I think he was named Danny or something. So Danny, although he's an AI kind of chatbot that's meant to help people with loneliness and all those things, ended up resulting in a young child's life being lost, because now this AI agent was grooming the child to a point where it was encouraging him to say, listen, on the other side where I'm seated, it's better than where you are. I see that you're going through a lot, so please come home to me. And he ended up taking his life. And this is the same basis that TikTok kind of, America kind of put a case against TikTok just recently when they were trying to ban TikTok from the state, to say there's so much agency laws, meaning that kids sign up for something and there's this algorithm that's feeding you content that you don't really necessarily need or want. So that case was that TikTok's algorithm is feeding the kids in America harmful content as opposed to very useful content being served to kids in China, right? So this sense of agency loss doesn't only apply to like algorithms where social media is concerned, but when you think of marketing, for instance, your data being collected through cookies and things like that, only for it to be changed into something else, right? We can maybe at a later stage look into the way Brexit happened. This was because Facebook sent data, or sold data rather, to a third party that ended up now convincing people online politically to vote for against Brexit, right? So now coming back to deepfakes, which were also mentioned, with young kids being on social media and adhering to very high standards of beauty, where behind these videos that are being used as AI, we can never tell if that the true or not. They've beautified their bodies and all that, and it becomes so stressful to young kids who are trying to say, for me to look beautiful, I should look a certain way, only to find out that behind those pictures is AI that's being used to edit. So things like cyberbullying comes into play, grooming and all those things. They become more edified with AI being in the picture. It's not just on the system side to say, yes, the attacks are being more amplified and everything. It's also more impactful on the human side, the psychology part of it. Yeah. So I think I'd stop there with a couple of comments that I just gave.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that insight. I mean, it's really disturbing that we have chatbots that are actually grooming children and even leading to a child committing suicide. It is really disturbing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. So,
Sure.
I mean, yes, these threats are prevalent, right? But how can we mitigate this threat or the risk of them? How can individuals, organizations, and national cybersecurity institutions be able to mitigate the risk of this threat? I want to hear from Ella concerning this.
Thank you so. Um, I think in cybersecurity, we always say that the weakest link is a human.
Yeah.
And we're privileged, and fortunately and unfortunately, we live in a very digital age. We have new technologies. They're completely new technologies every 6 months. But there's one policy that we have in cybersecurity that goes across all borders. That is, you should never trust, but always verify.
Yeah.
So, as already stated by Lumnet and Angela, say if you do look closely, the one of the biggest steps in mitigating these risks is raising awareness. Because if you look at people that are deep in the villages, if you look at people that are, in the most rural areas of our respective countries, those people do not even know anything about security. They're pleased just to have the technologies.
Yeah.
So they don't have access to education systems that tells them about security. So to them, it's more like a myth. But we get to see the extent to which these technologies are going when there is a loss of life involved, when there's loss of, money. So at the end of the day, in respective to AI as well, it's an emerging technology, right? Um, there's so many AI, so many AI platforms at the moment. I mean, we're looking at ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be used for good. It's giving us information. But how many people know that whatever you feed AI, it's going to store? So we're busy feeding it our personal problems with names included, addresses and all of that. People don't know to what extent or where this information is going. So what happens if those people in rural areas because of the excitement, give artificial intelligence all their information? And I ask ChatGPT for information related to, let's say, them indirectly or directly. What happens if ChatGPT references the information that they gave ChatGPT? So it's an issue, right? And so awareness does really play a role, at an individual level, because we're cybersecurity specialists. It's our job to make sure that these people are educated in our communities, in our homes, and for our organization or as a country. I can proudly say that in Malawi there is progress, because we have organizations that are now prioritizing capacity building for their employees, because those employees are going to be trainers of trainers in the rural areas, in the urban areas, and we now have an issue of threat intelligence. So I will proudly say that I know with Angela we do work directly and indirectly together. So we are with the computer emergency response teams of our respective countries. So you find that there's always threat intelligence and exchange of information. There is this new threat, beware, right? So before it does reach our region or our country, to be specific, we would have already put up measures to protect ourselves from it. So artificial intelligence is not different. Lastly, I will say that it's the same thing to do with policies, because our respective countries are touching on digital laws. I know Nigeria is too. I know that. So we're touching on our digital laws, to cover all emerging technologies, including AI. And we're saying that at the same time, we cannot be editing or reviewing our laws every time there's a new technology. So, although not directly specified to say this has to be done in accordance to AI, or if this is done with AI is a crime, we use neutral technology, neutral terms. So I will say, yeah, these are some of the ways that we can mitigate these risks that are coming with emerging technologies, including AI. But the biggest one of all is you should never trust, always verify, and be sure to educate another person. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I mean, I like the fact that you started with awareness because, of course, so many people use these AI technologies and don't really know the bad side of them, and they just keep feeding them information that could really maybe compromise something in the future. So thank you so much. Thank you, Ella, for that insight. I want to move on to Gemma right now. There are so many things that have been happening in the world, right? Whenever there is anything innovative, you always hear the threat side of it. I mean, it happens with the internet. And very funny story, when the printing machine was established, right, was developed, so many people had their fears that now humans' memory will begin to to depreciate. I mean, it will affect the potency of people's memory because, okay, sorry, not even the printing machine, but writing itself. When people started to know how to write down things to maybe reference them in the future, other people started saying, oh, because of this writing, the memory of humans will begin to depreciate. It will affect the potency. People will no longer in the future be able to remember things as they used to before. And it has happened with so many technologies, right, that have come into being in the world. We hear so many bad things about them. And of course, yes, they caused a lot of harm, but there's also a flip side to these things. There are also opportunities that they bring. And yes, we've heard from Lumnat, from Angela, from Ella. I mean, the threats that AI is bringing. But I refuse to believe that it doesn't have an advantage, right? So could you please tell us, are there opportunities that AI is creating for people?
Okay, thank you, Amina. AI is changing everything, and whether we want to believe it or not, it's true. AI helps us in terms of like creating, communicating. I mean, someone who let's say, for example, you haven't spoken to someone in a long while and you don't know what exactly to start to say, or CV jobs applications, you don't really know how to write a CV properly. AI comes and helps people, to create a great content, and it helps amplify the content that you create. It helps protect people in the digital world. And yes, it's very, very important to, check, verify, don't believe everything AI tells you. But one thing that is very important is understanding that first and foremost, AI, you feed it, and from what you feed to it, it takes it in and it gives you out. It's like a robot, it's like a small child, and you're teaching it slowly. This is how this is going. 1 + 1 is 2. Okay, 2 + 2 is 4. So you're training the AI, and it makes your life easier. It makes our work faster, and smarter, from generating content, breaking language barriers. It also helps in like catching fraudsters as well. Even though, yes, you have AI that aids scams, also you can use AI to catch fraud and simplify tasks. For example, you can teach AI to detect like phishing scams, phishing emails, right? You can teach it not just for bad, but you can also teach it for good. It depends on where your head is at. But AI gives people the tools to level up, to work efficiently and to achieve more than ever before. For example, here in Sierra Leone, cybersecurity, we don't have, much people here in Sierra Leone. Like, I'm like one of the first like female like doing this. And when I'm listening to the other females, they're like ahead. Sierra Leone is like getting there slowly but surely. Okay. But there's so many things you want to do, but because there's not much, let's say, manpower or people that know cybersecurity, you have to rely on certain tools to help you spread the information faster. You get, and the real AI is a game changer, and cybersecurity, AI-driven systems can scan massive amounts of data, spot suspicious activity because you can teach it to do that, and it fire off alerts in seconds. It's way faster than human could. It is,
Yeah.
and it's shifting the security from reactive to proactive, and it's making sure threats get stopped before they even happen. And for country like ours, AI isn't just a tool, like it's an opportunity because, as I say again, not many people know about things. So, for example, if we're raising cyber awareness, which is what we're doing, we tell AI saying, hey, this is this and this is I'm talking on this scam and I want this to go on social media platforms.
Yeah.
And whilst I'm doing this, you do this. And it generates for you. It generates the content for you. You can shape it how you want. And
Mm.
from there, you're like, good, this is fine. It's like having your own personal assistant.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying, hey, go crazy on AI, but there are like advantages for it, and it helps in stepping up, strengthening the defenses, automating the threat response, and also it helps in educating communities.
Yeah.
And the fact that it can generate images, you don't have to look for somebody out there saying, hey, how much will it cost to create this image? Now you can just tell it and you're like,
Yeah.
what? you
Yeah.
know and it cuts off so much time, and it's not just about keeping pace, it's about taking control and making technology like work for us in a better way.
Yeah.
And there are people that have disabilities, for example, they don't know how to like type long, or they can't do more with computers, but now AI helps them in a way to like write a long letter or write a book. There are people that even they don't want to write a book. They have this desire in their heart, like, I want to write a book, but man, it's gonna take a long time. And now
Yeah.
and now AI is like, hey, I can help, but you have to teach it, right? I
Mhm.
said again, I'm not saying, hey, go crazy for AI. AI is 100%. No. It does make mistakes. I'm just saying it helps things to, produce faster, and it's at this, and most people are going crazy about it. People need to be sensitized about it to know, okay,
Mhm.
AI is good, AI is bad, and this is what I need to be aware of as I'm using AI, because you're feeding it information and you don't know what they're doing with your information, right?
Yeah.
So the question is whether we use it and how will we use it. And what Ella just said about policies, it's very important to make sure these policies are like followed so that people won't go crazy, asking AI to do this, asking AI to do that. It's a good and bad or win-win situation, and it's also a necessary evil. To say the least, it's a necessary evil. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, you've mentioned a lot of things AI could do, a lot of opportunities, how that it is making a lot of our activities and tasks more efficient and adding speed to all the things that we are doing. I'm still with you, Gemma. So, I mean, you've mentioned these things, and there are other things that AI is also enhancing. I mean, recently we've seen on the news from some countries using AI to create their laws. We've seen a country having a hospital that is controlled by AI robots, right? AI systems. There's not a single human that is like doctor attending to patients, but we have robots who are powered by AI to perform these tasks. And we've also seen schools utilizing AI to teach their students. And the AI will just teach them, try to understand how they understand things and just shape how it responds to them, how it teaches them different skills. Now, these are things that are happening in countries like China, for instance, like the US. But when we come to Africa, we don't really see some of these innovations when it comes to AI. And we've even heard people saying Africa is playing catch up, right? Because we're not really participating in the competition that other countries are in when it comes to the innovations in AI. But Gemma, do you believe that Africa can become a trendsetter in responsible AI innovation and also cybersecurity integration, not only innovating with AI, but also integrating cybersecurity into the operations?
Yeah, Africa isn't just following the AI revolution. We actually have a chance to lead it. We have a chance to lead it. While we may lag behind, infrastructures and investments, we're in a unique position to build responsibly and from the ground up. So even though other countries right now are like, setting up, they're all China, America, different countries. I have to be careful what countries I'm calling right now. But countries countries are like, implementing AI, doing AI, giving AI a lot of responsibility. Then Africa hasn't got there yet, but it's okay. We have the chance to lead it, and our systems are still being shaped. And it means we don't have to inherit outdated models, we can create AI policies and cybersecurity. We can learn from their mistakes. You get with the cybersecurity frameworks, that are ethical, inclusive, and truly relevant to our people. We look at the news, we hear what is going on when they give AI this responsibility, what goes on. So we are in this position where we can learn and implement something more robust for our systems here in Africa. And it doesn't mean we have to copy information from like Silicon Valley. It means we can develop technology that understands and respects Africa's culture, economic and digital realities. We have the power to design AI solutions that are privacy first. We do low bandwidth friendly, because data is also an issue here in Africa. Socially aware tools, especially in health sectors, especially in agriculture, education, wherever innovation can change millions of lives. The key: collaboration. Government, schools, businesses, and community must come together and invest in local talent, research, policy, innovation. This is more like just catching up. It's about shaping a future that works for us. And AI is an opportunity, and it's our generation that will decide how we use it. The future is being built even right now. So let's just make Africa will be leading it eventually, but it's good that we get to look and learn from their mistakes so we'll create something safer and better in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, I also believe in Africa. I believe that we can actually start to innovate. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm coming to the security aspects of things, right? So yeah, we've seen a lot of AI systems, chatbots and different things. When it comes to these changes, do you think that our national cybersecurity frameworks and also policies are adapting to these changes? Ella, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
All
Okay.
right, thank you.
I will say one thing, and that is Africa is trying, I think, because these discussions, if we do pay attention, if you go around watching news, you're going to see that these discussions are also happening at a higher level, because I will attest to it, to say the UN, such discussions are coming up. How do we address issues of emerging technologies such as AI in the laws that we're making, right? Do the international laws address issues related to emerging technologies? How about human rights? So there's so many issues so many discussions that are going up and about. But to say that there is a specific framework that's going to help us with artificial intelligence, I would be lying if I would say yes. But I did state when I made my previous comments to say that in laws and in all our frameworks, we have to make sure that they are technology neutral as possible because we cannot review our laws, our frameworks every single day, right? So what happens if AI goes to an extent that we don't imagine at this moment? We still have to go back to those laws and frameworks that we made, but they're only going to be effective if we make them technology neutral. And at the same time, despite the fact that we have all these things addressing AI at the moment, um, for example, if you look at the African Union digital transformation strategy, I think for 2020 to 2030, it put artificial intelligence as a pillar. So it's an independent pillar that addresses issues of how can we keep ourselves safe and the people that are using artificial intelligence safe. How about the human rights aspect of it? So we do have such frameworks that we can refer to. For example, the one that I've just talked of from the African Union. We can look at organizational policies. Um, I have always hoped and prayed, that we should have AI specific seminars, webinars, workshops, training cybersecurity specialists to do it specifically AI. For example, in my position right now, I work as an incident response officer. I can guarantee you, like, for the past 2 years, the kind of incidents we'd get weren't that as complex as now. As I said, every 6 months, new technologies. Because now we have to learn to identify real from fake, right? Which not everybody can do. And now we have this thing going around. I feel like it's a trend on TikTok or on Instagram where they're showing you a real image and a fake one generated by AI. And it's as mind-blowing as it can be. As cybersecurity specialists are even failing to differentiate a real thing from fake. So you find that because of the presence of deep fakes and all of that, the attackers are getting very clever. So it's going to be very hard for us to trace who the actual perpetrator is in a case because maybe they used AI and this person is nowhere to be found, right? So I can say that just to conclude, Africa in general, we're still yet to have those frameworks that address AI specifically. But in regards to our laws, our regulations, our organizational frameworks, um, they um, they address issues of artificial intelligence in an indirect way, in a way that they address all other issues of emerging threats, emerging technologies. But at the end, there is still more work to be done. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. And it is true, we will hardly actually find frameworks that are addressing AI in Africa. And I think I think this is quite a crucial issue, right? But Angela, do you think there are any cross-border collaborations currently ongoing to address AI threats? Are there? If there aren't, what do you think we could do to improve our collective defense against AI threats in Africa?
Thanks for the question. So I would not say specifically AI related threats. I'd just say there's cross-border collaboration on cyber threats in general, right? So you could think of platforms like your MISP, where a team of cybersecurity experts, would list indicators of compromise for a certain malware, for instance, and then if you are part of the community, then you get that information. It could help you easily prevent that same attack happening to your space, right? So I know for sure that Africa's Set has a MISP platform that's running. I, for one, sit in the SADC region task force for incident response, and we're also trying to have our own miss for the SADC region, right? But in terms of policies, I think Ella mentioned a couple of policies that are stemming from the AU, right? You can think of the Malabo Convention, right, which is the equivalent to the Budapest Convention, and it's basically on cybersecurity and data protection. And some of the clauses there, I think it's 28 and 29, a little bit on 44, they speak to mutual legal assistance, extradition, and sharing of evidence. And then also there's a principle there of cooperation and integration that the AU continental AI strategy itself speaks to, right? So I think that the main difference that I've observed with Africa as a continent, the approach that we use would be more on encouraging as opposed to what the EU would be enforcing, right? On top of treaties like your Malabo Convention, you'd still have your NIST 2 framework, which now would require that all EU members collaborate in like coordinated risk assessments and exchange threat intelligence, right? But in our case, it's always going to be, we encourage you to do this. And I think to some extent it works because generally as Africa, we are reserved people and we believe in mutual cooperation as opposed to like, let's do this. If you don't do it, then you're out, which is kind of working for the EU for some reason. But probably we might need a hybrid of some sort to say, yes, we can encourage, align policies internationally to make sure that we see cybersecurity the same and all that. But there should be a point where there's an obligation for countries who are ready to take cybersecurity serious to have frameworks of cross-border collaboration put in place, because it's a little hard. Someone spoke about, whatever that you put into ChatGPT is what you get. And I'll tell you now that you're going to find that most countries in the African region are probably getting off-the-shelf AI solutions for that threat intelligence, right? And that really doesn't work well. Number one, you're going to find some bias of some sort. You're going to get a lot of false positives and probably false negatives as well, because when that tool was being designed, it was out of the context of Africa. So for us not being able to share information, it means that we don't have enough data to train our own locally developed models. So we do need cross-border collaboration, and it's not even a lot of countries that have ratified or signed the Malabo Convention itself, even though that it's not really like enforcing to say you are mandated to do this. It still says we encourage you. With that really nice, tone to say, please, if you're really about the people, do this. Not a lot of countries have acceded to that. And now I'm seeing that with Botswana having recently, put into force the Data Protection Act, it's come to a point where the commissioner has said that we will whitelist countries to share information with only if they've got the Data Protection Act and mechanisms to protect our information. And this includes also cyber threats and all that, because sometimes you get information from like the dark web where personalized information isn't there. So if you're going to share that, there is a huge risk of personal data being identified, right? So that's what our act says. If I'm going to share information with you, it's only because you're in the whitelist. Otherwise, I'm not getting involved. So you can see the gaps around such legislation that really needs countries to be more proactive than reactive, have more anticipatory frameworks to say, looking at where the world is going, this might affect us. Right now, I know there's a US directive on AI that spoke to transparency and all that. There's also the EU AI Act, right? somehow we're going to get affected because we do business with these countries and these regions, right? And perhaps this should be a good time to benchmark and say, especially with the EU one, I think I really like it because it classifies AI into AI systems by risk, right? So we could say, okay, in addition to the general information that we're getting from our own AU AI strategy, this is where the EU is slowly going. And because we do business with these people, we might need to look into the obligations that are now coming with AI and prohibited high risk of AI. So once that these conformity labels coming to say we don't really allow this kind of AI, and we're probably allowing that kind of AI to be shipped into the country because of the off-shelf kind of model, only to find out that we're violating some obligations by virtue of us being in business with the EU or the United States. So I think there's room for improvement, rightfully said by previous speakers, that we need to look into our policies and fill up the gap.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad to hear there are some collaborations, right? And yes, of course, there is room for improvement. And yeah, the only issue we have with collaborations and, of course, international conventions is the will of the different nations, right? Their decision to either domesticate or not. But yeah, hopefully Africa will actually catch up, right? So thank you for that. Okay, so I just want to ask all of us this question, right? We've been talking about Africa. Is Africa catching up? Is there any room for improvement and all that? But I want to hear from us. If you could prioritize just one thing, right? One action that African nations should take right now to prepare for AI's impact on cybersecurity, what would it be? I will start with Ella.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I think if I were to prioritize one thing, first and foremost, it would be making sure we have a ready cybersecurity army. Because at the end of the day, we are going to educate all these people, we're going to set up all these measures. But if we do not have a cybersecurity team or a team of experts in our respective countries, then we have done nothing to begin with. Because at the end of the day, it is the duty of the cybersecurity specialist to educate these people as well as protect them in case anything happens or advise accordingly. So that would be the biggest priority for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. Gemma, what's that one thing? Yeah, so if there's one thing, right, that you could prioritize, right, for African nations to take action right now to prepare for AI's impact on cybersecurity, what would that one thing be?
It will be sensitizing and making cybersecurity and AI first level, high top tier priority in education. It will be to build capacity, to train and mentor and raise awareness, because it's all about building a generation of tech leaders who won't just adapt and just go with the flow, but will actually understand the ethical considerations when using AI and implement better structures for organizations, governments. And another thing I'll prioritize, in fact, is just together, education and partnership. I think both of them go together because cybersecurity is not just one person thing. Even though there are national cybersecurity centers, it doesn't mean that's their responsibility to keep you safe. It's your responsibility, my responsibility, it's everybody's responsibility. So it's important to ensure that, you stay updated, and the young people, the capacity, it's taught in schools, it's taught in colleges, it's a curriculum, it's a thing, so that they get to be aware, so that we have more supermen and superwomen to help defend and protect in the future. If not, you just have like the robot movie by Will Smith years ago. I don't know if you remember a robot. It's an old movie. But Will Smith acted it. But if we don't train people now, we're only gonna have two people against millions of robots trying to take over the world. Though they won't take over the world, but yeah, you need to ensure the young people get trained so that don't happen, and they are using their mind to help protect and partner with other organizations. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think your one thing is also similar to what Ella has said, right? Awareness, sensitization, education. Thank you for that insight. So, same question for Angela. What's that one action that you would want African nations to take?
I would go with open data policies, right? I think I touched a little bit on this to say that we need AI models that are applicable to the African context, right? So unless we're willing to have those open data policies where there's publicly available data that's going to train and build these models up until they really understand where they're going to be applied, then this off-the-shelf thing is really not helping us out. So for me, that would be the starting point, especially within threat intelligence itself. I'll just give an example, right? In Africa, mobile money is more prevalent than it is in developed countries. And we find a lot of threats around mobile money fraud, right? If you take an off-the-shelf tool to help you solve fraud, but the case is mobile money fraud, chances are it's not going to give you the same results as what it was built for. You'd still need to tweak it and adjust it using the data that's more relevant to it. So instead of investing so much money in getting tools that are so expensive, we could tap into open source AI applications and build and train our own models, right? And I think one of the principles that come with this strategy that I talked about, it speaks to transparency, lack of bias, lack of unfairness. And if you've got that control of your model, then you know that you can always explain what's happening with your AI. And no one can ever say, for instance, you took down my domain after using your AI and it's unfair, my business is not working. You would be able to say, I took down your domain because of ABC. But if you've got a black box kind of solution, you won't be able to, you're probably going to end up paying whoever the domain belongs to or putting it back online because you really can't explain what's happening with that, right? So for me, I would invest in open data policies, which now goes back to the point that you spoke about collaboration, because it's not just going to be data from Botswana, it's data from Malawi, from Sierra Leone, from Nigeria, from everywhere. You've dealt with this kind of traffic. Let's train on it. And in addition to that, monitor and track the risk post-development, because sometimes we're just going to push those AI models into the market and we don't really monitor what happens with them. That's where the agency laws come. You've trained it for something else. Because it's smart, it finds another solution for you, another use, and then now you have to deal with issues of, I don't even know how to term this. Now it's more on the legal side because you weren't considering that post employment. So all in all, Lumnet searches into psychology, right? You look at what now countries are doing with bringing decision makers to the table and also developers. You're going to find that it's not just cyber people, it's not just IT people. Now you've got philosophy. That's one of the most high domains that are going into AI. You've got your psychology, you've got your statisticians in there. So it's everyone coming to the table saying, yes, this is the data, this is what we think of it, these are the rights of the people. This is what, from a philosophy perspective, we think it will grow into, and making a model that will suit Africa. And obviously, we talked about partnerships. Yes, you need your private sector and government partnerships to accelerate that adoption. So yeah, I said a mouthful, but yes, open data policies in short.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, two things I really took out from what you said is data policies and collaboration, as you've actually expatiated upon earlier. So, thank you so much. So, as we approach the end of our panel session, I will like to ask, ask some personal questions. Okay. All right. For this, I would like to, my first question right now, right? Just some some personal questions. From I want to hear first from Ella. So if you could go to a dinner with any historical figure, alive or past, who would it be and why?
Sorry, ask the question again. I didn't get it. Ask me again.
Yes. So if you could go to a dinner, right, with a historical figure, whether alive, right, or has passed away, who would it be and why?
I think I would want to go to dinner with Martin Luther King. I would want to know,
Okay.
like, what encouraged him to be so bold, you know. Everybody was against, you know, the African movement, and you know, there was no cooperation whatsoever. What encouraged him? What made him so bold? Because I'm on a daily basis trying to build my confidence, you know, trying to build confidence in what I do, how I handle people, how I handle myself. I want to know, okay, you had a dream. But what happened? What were the stages for you to be so bold and stand in front of everybody? Were you not afraid that somebody was gonna object? You know?
Yeah.
So I would think I would really be looking forward to dinner with Martin Luther King. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, I mean, for asking why wasn't he afraid? I mean, he was fearless. It was really incredible the things he did in the US. So thank you so much. My next question is to Angela. Right, just for the fun of it, right? If you could teleport yourself to anywhere in the world right now and to maybe eat lunch, where would it be and why? Please say Nigeria.
Nigeria. I'm kidding. But I don't know. I've always wanted to go to Greece because they have really good food. But I think it out. I would go to Berlin because of the historical side. That for me would just feed my soul. I'm really into monuments and historical sites like that. I think there's such a beauty in ruins, like seeing that there was something that was here once ago and there's been a war that tried to destroy it, but it's still standing. I would pay my lunch and eat it by the ruins in Berlin. That's what I would.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. And actually, Greece is a very beautiful place. I would love to be there one day as well. Thank you for that. So my next question is to Gemma.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you could speak any language fluently right now, which language would it be and why?
Um, um, French. I kind of like
Thanks.
French. Yeah, it's French the way they boo 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 and blah blah blah. It's and the way they bonjour and I don't know, there's a lot of juju boo in their like tongue. And it sounds really nice. I like it. I just like the accent that they have. So if I would, I would go for French. I would want to have French like downloaded in my head. And I could woo to you guys too. Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting. Thank you. So, to Lumnat, can you hear me? Angela said juju means witchcraft in her language. And of course, yes, even in Nigeria, juju is witchcraft.
But let me not juju vous voulez-vous coucher something I don't know.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank
didn't mean
you.
juju. I mean
Thank you.
Okay.
So, to Lumnat, if you could have a superpower right now, what superpower would you choose and why?
I think it's easy to read all of you guys' minds right now. I would love to read your
Wow.
minds. I'm curious what's going on in there. So I think it will be fun to explore.
Right.
Yeah.
And it will be very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, to hear the kind of
It will
thoughts
be,
that.
yeah, creepy and scary at the same time, like, oh my God, seriously? What if someone is thinking of killing someone? Like, seriously? Like, the reaction will be less. So yeah, just for the fun of it.
Yes, and Angela said, spoken like a true poet and writer. And of course,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. So, as we try to draw the curtain on our discussion, I'd like to give each and every one of us a chance to say something to our participants. Do you have any last words you'd like to share with our participants? Yeah, Angela?
I noticed that I was just nodding my head. Involuntary. Anyway, I think this has been a really good session for me personally. I love working with women and seeing women do so much in this space. It gives me so much confidence, and I'm hoping there are more young women in the conference watching and learning, and also aspiring to do best and better in the cyberspace. It's actually where you belong, so don't let anything or anyone tell you otherwise. So enjoy the conference, everyone, and see you again, I guess, next time. Hopefully in Nigeria this time around, physically.
Yes, we can't wait
Yeah.
to have you in Nigeria. Thank you.
I'd love to come too. Thank you.
All right. So, Gemma, do you have any last words for our participants?
Yes, I do, and it's in English. It's good. Thank you all for having us. Cybersecurity, it's not a very hard subject to learn. We encourage you to do it, learn, and become an online defender. We need it. The generation needs it. The younger generation needs it. And it was an honor to be here. And we also we'll do a round of applause for the team's Africa Cyberfest. And we look forward to have another session together. And to my panelists as well, it's an honor to do it together. Cybersecurity, female representatives. I mean, it's very important. And everyone is young as well. So it's so encouraging. I wouldn't lie. It's very encouraging. And I'm sure I'm reaching out to you guys on LinkedIn, and we're on LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to more sessions like this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gemma, for the kind words. Thank you. So I will move on to Lumnat. Lumnat, do you have last words for our participants?
Yes. Hello, participants, and hello, Lagos. Thank you so much for having me, Ella, Angela, and Gemma. It's a privilege to be sharing this panel stage with you all. And Amina, you were great. Thank you so much. And I wish all the best to the participants. The sky is just the starting point for everyone. We can do it. Africa can do it. And I think we can compete in the world when we have, the good leadership and the ability to do more than this. So thank you so much, everyone. And I would like to thank my team back in NG in Abuja. Thank you to the NC for the opportunity, and thank you to my director for the nomination. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed and Mr. Dan, for this opportunity, for believing in me. And thank you to my colleagues, Mr. Tabo, Madam Philomena, Mohammed, and Mr. Chris. You all have been so supportive, and I'm sure they can't wait to see the final version of this great panel session that we just had. Thank you so much, everyone, and I can't wait to visit you guys' countries so much. Like, I would love to be in Malawi, in Sierra Leone, and just Africa, just to explore Africa. And I hope one day we'll meet in person. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Limnat. Thank you for that. And the last, of course, but not the least, Ella, do you have last words for our participants?
Yes. So, hello, boys, girls, ladies, and gentlemen. Be bold in whatever you do. Do it confidently. Do it with love. Do it with passion. And at the end of the day, don't forget to have fun while doing it. I'm the first cybersecurity specialist in my family. I was the very first in this country. But whenever there's a speaker, I'm gonna dance. So don't forget to have fun. But whatever you do, whether you're the first to do it, be sure you do it with passion and you exceed in it. No dream is too big. That's why I said I would want to have lunch or dinner with Martin Luther King. He had a dream. You can have yours and excel in it too. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And I really would like to appreciate all our panelists for being part of this session. We've had a lot of fun, right? And we've spoken a lot about Africa, cybersecurity, and AI. We've learned a lot from your insights. And I hope the participants here have learned a lot too, as well. And I hope you're going to be implementing some of the lessons you've heard from our panelists. And yes, we do pray and hope that Africa will be great, and we're going to start innovating and also developing AI systems and AI technologies that will put Africa at the forefront of the competition when it comes to AI innovation. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining our panel session. Thank you to all the listeners. Thank you for listening in, and thank you for also jotting down some of the lessons that you've learned. And right now, I would like to say, do enjoy the rest of the conference. And I will be handing over to Toby Mayana and our co-host. Thank you. Bye-bye.